Welcome back, everybody. My name's TMG Penty, and today we're going to be talking about Color Out of Space, one of Nicolas Cage's new crazy movies that he's making in this insane list of horror that he's taking part in. I hope to watch that Five Nights at Freddy's clone he's essentially making, and I'm excited. So, like I always do, I'm going to go over the I go over the directors and then who's it starring. So it's directed by Richard Stanley. It's starring, of course, as I said earlier, Nicolas Cage, good old Nicolas Cage, not the bees. Jolie Richardson, Elliot Knight. I don't know. Actually, let's say this one. Madeline Arthur, I think. Kioring Klitcher. I don't even know which character that is. I don't know how to say that name. And Tommy Chong from good old Cheech and Chong. I didn't even realize it was Tommy Chong in the movie when I was watching. So when it popped up at the end saying Tommy Chong, I was like, oh, what? But overall, this is a movie that is an adaptation of the Dunwich Horror, which talks about this crazy stuff that happens after a meteorite crashes near this family's farm and all the craziness they go through because it is an Eldritch Horror based story. It is a Lovecraftian story, which is saying the same thing essentially. But this film, like I said, talks about this family as they go through and deal with a meteor crashing near their farm, semi-farm, land out in the middle of nowhere, and crazy things start to happen. Their son is obsessed with the well. Their llamas are being insane and getting out all the time. They're forgetting stuff. Crazy things happen. Nicolas Cage gets to go pretty insane at one point during the movie, which is, what we're all here for in a Nicolas Cage movie. And, yeah, other than that, I sat down and watched with my dad. I didn't know how my dad would respond to this movie, but he got hooked. He ended up staying up way past when he wanted to go to bed, almost finishing it, and then finishing it off a couple days later because I finished it that night. Overall, I think this is a very fun movie. This was really good. This was better than I was expecting. I was expecting a really crazy, weird movie when I sat down to watch it and got more of a really good Eldritch Horror movie. The Eldritch Horror that happens in it, all the craziness that happens is actually really enjoyable. All the actors do a great job of dealing with these issues. And the practical effects that they use to make some of the monsters that you will see in this film, because it does have some monsters, is great. They did a really good job of retelling the story and what this family goes through. One of the big things I thought was cool that I was looking some stuff up just to understand more about Eldritch Horror because I didn't know the story this came from and it doesn't feature Cthulhu. Is the reason they use magenta is that's the main color of the movie. Is magenta is not even a real color that the human eye recognizes. And I think that's very fun to tie in the movie's idea of this crazy color that lands near their house essentially through the meteorite and using magenta to play off this otherworldly being because magenta once again is just like our brain trying to interpret a color we can't see. It's not a real color, I guess, in the spectrum of our eye. Other than that, there's not really any music to note. The colors of the movie are good. Like I said, I was bringing up magenta earlier, so they do a lot of themes with magenta, but also just the color throughout the movie is done really well. It's a very colorful movie. The acting is probably the main part. The main part of the movie is the acting, especially behind Nicolas Cage, and them going through all the insanity that happens once an Eldritch Horror comes down and crashes near your house. Dang, honestly, other than that, this might be a really short one because there's not a lot to say about the movie without spoiling it. Even my dad, I was like, I need you to finish the movie before I explain to you how Eldritch Horrors work. You just need to watch it so that you can experience it and then talk to me about it. So, other than that, I mean, it's really entertaining. What I would like to talk about is that Nicolas Cage is making all these minor horror films that he's taking part in. I will say I was a little let down. It's the first 4K I bought that did not come with a digital code. It told me to sign up for some streaming service, which I'm not in the mood to sign up for more streaming services. But overall, it seems like people were just like, hey, What do people like about Nicolas Cage? He's crazy. Okay, let's just make a bunch of movies with Nicolas Cage going crazy. Mom and Dad is another Nicolas Cage movie that came out that I want to see. And honestly, yeah, half the reasons I want to see them is just because you get to see Nicolas Cage go crazy. But yeah, for this movie, the main things I'd harp on is, once again, Nicolas Cage does a great job acting and doing what he does best. The practical effects are really cool. I liked seeing some of the monsters that happen later in the movie. Yeah, and other than that, there's not much more to say about Color Out of Space. Like I said, my dad thought it was very engaging. His review was pretty much that it was a good movie where he was really caught up in what the heck was happening with the family. Because he has never experienced any Cthulhu like things before. So overall, it got a Penty's dad out of 10. I guess, I don't know. And other than that, after this review, you should see my Ghost in the Shell. I technically recorded it before this, but that's not important. I think I do need to do these right after I watch the movie because I run out of things that I want to say as time goes on. I think that keeps these longer and more engaging. But yeah, after this, it's either Joker. It's most likely going to be Joker, but my dad wants to sit down and watch that with me, so it might be Hellboy. But I'm leaning more towards Joker. Other than that, tell me what you thought about Color Out of Space. What's your favorite new crazy Nicolas Cage movie that he made, and anything like that. Other than that, y'all, have a good one. Take it easy. I'm TMG Penty, and I'm out.